Alright, so it's 4 January 2019. Jimmy's brought some Arizona ash wood, right?
From Texas.
From where you grew up, the house where you grew up.
Yard, and we're going to do some cool stuff with it.
Okay, so he brought all this wood over here. We're going to start off with something small since this is his first time using the lathe. And we're going to use this, maybe make a pencil holder. But to get it on the lathe, we're going to have to get the ends kind of flatter than what they are. So we're going to put those on the cut saw over here, the miter saw, and see if we can square this up a little bit and then put it on the lathe. So see that will fit on here. And we can check the blade. I'm going to push it up in there to where it's nice and tight. And you can see the blade's going to start cutting right there.
Yep.
And then all you got to do is just pull this. You're going to have to hold the guard up because it's a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
So hold on with this hand. Couldn't. Just let it back up.
Okay. Putting enough force on it or what?
I'm not sure. But at any rate, we can just. I had to stop because the center of our saw had gotten here.
Okay.
So that was as far down as we could cut that way. So we're going to have to just cut it a little bit. Not perfect. It doesn't meet perfectly. That's probably fine.
It needs to be flat enough, right?
Hammer, which you know, the rule about hammers.
Just keep hammering.
No, when the need arises, the closest thing at hand becomes a hammer. Okay. So, let's kind of give us an idea of what we got to work with there. If we can get, I knew I had an actual hammer here somewhere. If we can get the center kind of flat, see we got the flat center there?
Yep.
That's all we really need to worry about. So we got one end flat. This is nice hard wood. And then, so
is there like a age you look for, like? You know, how dead you want it to be versus how fresh, like a fresh.
You can work green wood if you want to.
Wow.
Alright, so this one here, we'll make it a little bit easier on ourselves since we know the center is probably going to be somewhere in here. That means we can probably start cutting just above the center so that we end up with a flat spot that's on the center and not have to even worry about doing this because we can work this off, work that away. So go ahead and cut right around in there.
figured we'd gone down.
There we go.
Nice.
All right, now one thing we can do is we can try to put this on the lathe to where it's off center, to where you get a little bit of bark, as long as the bark is willing to try to stay on the wood. So you'll get a pencil holder with bark on one side, and then the other side will be wood.
That's awesome.
And if you work a piece that's right on the center anyway, then it's with the rings, and you end up with no pattern.
Yeah.
Because it's all the same diameter. So if we go off center a little bit, then the center goes through a bunch of rings, and you end up with a little bit of a pattern.
Yeah.
Now ash doesn't have a lot of pattern to it, but at least we can get some of it out of there.
Yeah.
All right. So what
I thought it was an oak, but to my surprise, it was an Arizona ash, and my understanding is that they have a lifespan of like 20 years, maybe.
Not sure.
They just stop growing and starts falling off.
If we look at like a pencil holder this big around or so, we're probably looking at a center that is somewhere like right in here. Okay.
Okay.
And then so on the other side, we'd want to center that up somewhere right in here. Again, we're looking at a center spot. Okay. All right. So let's go check this up on the lathe and see what we can do.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of work ahead of you because this is hard.
Yeah. I believe it's. Yeah. I'm sure it's a process.
All right. So the first thing you want to do is we've got the pointy end on here, and we've got a pointy end on here. So we want to try to get those two to kind of line up where we want it. And slide this one up where it stabs it, and then we're going to lock our back post in here, and we're going to turn. Okay?
Okay.
So go ahead and turn this. Don't worry about that. Just turn that. See, you're pushing this, that point into there, so that outer ridge makes contact.
Yep.
Okay. Once it's tight, we should be good.
Yeah, that's tight.
And then you can see these
teeth are digging in there pretty good.
These teeth over here are going to make contact, and they're going to drive it.
Okay.
Okay. Let me just double check and kind of see if it's what it looks like here. See, I'm looking to see if this ridge here is kind of all the way in, making contact. See how it's still going in just a little bit? Okay. So I think we're okay there. Now this is going to be lopsided because we're off center. So it's going to wobble.
Okay.
And wobbling is typically bad. And bark is typically bad because the bark can come off in one big sheet and hit you in the face. So we have face mask for that purpose. All right,
I guess something with like bark, you need a bigger.
So basically, you probably want to start off with this gouge.
Okay.
And we're going to get it turning, and we're just going to use that to start getting it down to the right size.
Okay.
Now this is your tool rest. You want to make sure that it doesn't hit. Okay. So you can see right there it's kind of close. That's our closest point. So we can kind of get this. Move it a little bit. Like there, so it doesn't hit the tool rest. And then you're just going to rest this on here, and you're going to just keep going back and forth as you try to get some of this, all the extra wood that's on this side off. You want to go kind of slow, but not real slow.
Okay.
I can show you here a little bit, but so we want to get this. Now when it's wobbling, we don't want to turn this up real fast because it's wobbling. We don't want to throw it off. Okay. So we want to kind of start it slow and then as this gets rounder and rounder, we can speed it up. Okay? But basically you just want to, oops, I'm sorry. We're going the wrong direction.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's coming towards you. So that means as it hits the tool, it's wanting to push the tool down, but the tool rest keeps it from going down. So that lets you cut. Okay? But you can see that.
Oh, awesome!
It's going to take you a while to get down to where you're not cutting, or you're cutting the whole way around. So you have to kind of wait for it to come around and come to you. Okay?
Alright.
And I'm going to go ahead and stop it here, just so you can kind of see what we're doing.
Wow, look at that!
See, we're taking off this bark, and you want to keep checking it because you want to leave the bark on this side. So when you get done, this side's going to be bare wood, and then it's going to transition into bark on this side, and then transition back into wood on the other side.
That's going to look so cool.
Okay?
Yep.
So I'm going to go get some water so I can put in the sharpening stone thing, because you're going to want to sharpen these every once in a while. So,
so my concentration should be really on this top end.
You're just going down until you get to where it's a little bit more round. It'll take you a little while.
Okay. But I'm like, when you say round.
There we go. Just make wood chips for right now. That's all you want to do is make wood chips.
Alright, but I want to keep the bark, like you said, on this other side. So does it matter like how much time I spend on this side versus
just keep taking wood chips. I'll be back to check on you. I'm going to go get some water for the sharpening stone.
Oh, good.
Probably be a little bit more aggressive. See how you're making sawdust?
Yeah.
What you want to make is wood chips.
Alright.
Okay? So, not quite that aggressive, but you can see see how I'm covered in wood chips?
Alright.
That's what you want. So, don't jam it in there too hard, but you'll get a feel for it.
I'm breaking my
I mean, start off slow.
my
And just
lathe cherry.
yes. Just try your angle a little bit more like this.
Alright.
Yeah, go down, push it in, and then go down a little slower. There you go. You're making wood chips.
Yay!
the way to the left.
Oh,
and see what you got.
Wow.
So you've got it taken down probably half.
That's great. I'm halfway there.
So yeah, we'll just keep working at it. Now, since we've got some of it out of some of the wobble out, I'm going to speed it up just a little bit.
All right.
That will help keep the tool from going in between places and make it a little less choppy.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. You see, when it's real slow, you can imagine when it's not hitting anything and you're pushing on the tool, it goes in and then all of a sudden the thing comes down and pushes it back out.
Yeah.
And so it makes it kind of wobbly. So the faster you go, the smoother your tool will work. But like I said, we don't want it to wobble too much.
All right.
Stop it here for you. Alright, so I'm going to give you another tool to use, this flat one, just to give you a feel for another tool. Then I'll take this and go sharpen it a little bit, because you've been at this hardwood for a little while. So amazingly, I spend half my time sharpening my tools, the other half lathing, because a sharp tool is good. Bad dull tools are a pain in the ass. So just use it the same way. It's just going to be flat. So it's going to be a little bit. It's going to feel a little different.
And up angle again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me show you something here with the
I'm messing that up right there.
tool. Alright, so see how I just took a quick pass at it and see how some parts of it looks like it's been ground by the stone and some are still shiny. Well, the wood will polish this metal. for you. That's basically what it does, is it dulls it, it's polishing it. So one thing you can do is take a black magic marker and mark your tool, and then as you sharpen it, that black magic marker should disappear. But if it doesn't, that means you're not done sharpening yet.
Gotcha.
So let me kind of show you. Alright, so we took a quick pass that blade, and you can see where it was sharpening, it rubbed all the magic marker off, but where it was not, the magic marker is still there. So it's a good way to make sure that you've got it sharpened to your edge. Okay.
Alright. Back at it again.
Yeah.
So how often do you have to stop and...
How do you like that tool versus this one?
I think I like that one better.
Different. Okay, so if you're with this tool, if you're trying to take, this one's okay if you're trying to make a lot of area flat. It's not so good for taking off wood chips like this. But one thing you can do with it is use the point, and instead of going flat, go up against it a little bit with the point. It's going to dull it pretty quick, but use that point to go across. Take off wood chips. I don't like doing it like that, but if I got a small area and I
see what you're doing.
I'm impatient. I don't want to stop and sharpen my gouge. A lot of times I'll just do this for if I need to get a small area down a little bit. And then you see, you should be watching the top of your piece right there. And so that's kind of telling you what you're doing. All right, and see the grooves and everything up here and there. Let's see if I can get that on camera, maybe. You see your grooves up here. This is fogging me up. It's just out of focus. Doesn't like something. There. So you can see, you can take the point, take that point, and you can see the grooves that you make.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
It's just a different tool, but that's how you make undercuts and stuff like that. I'll have that gouge back to you here in just a second anyway.
You trying to keep the shape here at the top? You trying to take it down more?
Well, you're trying to get this to where your bark is only on one side, right? So see right now, of course we lose that edge, so it's hard to tell, but if you took this down over here, you'd be able to tell, okay, well we got bark from here to here, which is what I want or whatever. So you're just trying to get rid of all the wood that's on this side. And if you look on the ends, you can see how much wood you got to take off, because the part that ghost in and out is the part that is not round. All the part, and as a matter of fact, one thing you can do with this guy is you can make this edge here flat. Take that corner and just keep pushing in, and you can see how you'll get this down to where you just get this where it's flat.
Okay.
Like, because if you're going to set it on a table, you're going to need to get it flat anyway. But anyway, just play with that for a few minutes while I get the other one sharpened. time to get this sharp back to the edge.
Nice.
Okay, so let's go ahead and stop it and see where you're at. So again, if we're looking for something that's about that big around, we're probably looking at having still about half this bark that's on here gone.
Okay.
But you can see what it's going to look like as you feather from the wood to the bark.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to look like. So there you go.
Sweet.
A little faster.
Too
That's
fast?
probably good. Again, you're going to keep increasing the speed a little bit as it gets more and more round.
Oh, that's a lot better.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot better until it's not a lot better. And then that's when you stop and you sharpen.
Ah.
Whoa, making wood chips now.
Oh yeah.
That's when you know you're doing good, when you get just kind of flying off there in a constant stream of wood chips. Alright, so about now, you've got a taper to this.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to ask yourself, okay, well, do I want a taper? Or do I want it to be flat? Do I want it to set and be a perfect cylinder, or do I want it to have kind of a taper to it when it sets? Okay, I think you're probably pretty good with the taper.
Yeah, that's a
And I think you've already started you took some of the top layer of the bark off. So we probably need to stop with taking bark off, right? So because remember, this is what your bark did look like, right? So you've taken off some of this top area, which is fine because you don't want it to be real rough.
Yeah.
You want it to kind of be smooth. But if you want to leave that cracked sort of bark in there, which is a cool feature, and then you got, again, because we didn't go centered, we're getting all these different layers, and you got some pattern into it. Okay. So what I would do at this point is I would start making this flat. And if you want it tapered, that's fine. Leave it fatter at the bottom and this way. But see all your tool grooves?
Yep.
You want to start getting rid of those.
All right.
Okay, so because it's kind of lumpy right now, I'd go ahead and continue to use the gouge just to kind of get your height, get your rough shape in a little bit better. But then switch to that flat tool and use it to try to get rid of all your tool marks.
Gotcha.
And then once we're done with that, we'll come back in here, and since we lose this here, we'll start cutting this off right here.
Gotcha.
Or we'll make this a base.
Ah, so this is the bottom piece. This would be the bottom.
I would say this should be the bottom piece. Well, you could do it either way.
No. Yeah.
But the natural taper right now is the fat end is down here and the skinny end is over here. All right. So, I mean, you could reverse it.
No. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So use your gouge.
And
again, look at the top.
Okay.
See how the top goes like this?
Yeah.
You just want to take your gouge and start getting that to where it's flat.
Okay.
Right? And you can see your tool marks too.
Yep.
Right? So as you get this kind of flat in the shape that you want it, but remember you're not wanting to get rid of a lot of wood chips. Okay? You want the basic shape, you just want to start forming the outside a little bit now. And then once you're done with that, taking some of the waves out, then we'll use that flat tool to get rid of all your tool marks.
More concentration on this end than that, since this is
more concentration on the parts where it's wavy.
Okay.
Unless you want it wavy, you can do that too. You can make it to where it's kind of you can kind of go, okay, my fingers will grip it like that, so I want to kind of put some natural waves in it where it fits in my hand good. Okay. You can do whatever you want. What I was telling you, do what the wood tells you to do. Let the wood talk to you. Tell you what's inside of it.
I am Groot.
You're just helping it come out.
That's what it's saying. I am Groot. Alright.
See, if I don't know, if you kind of like that wavy shape to it, then let the wavy shape stay in there.
Nah, not for this one.
I like wavy shapes. When I make a pencil holder, I make wavy shapes. Just whatever.
The wood is speaking to me. It's
at
saying,
this point,
no
you
way.
need to start thinking about your final form. You've made as many wood chips as you need to make. Now you need to go from making wood chips to making shavings.
Gotcha.
And then finally we'll make sawdust.
Okay.
Right?
We're
taking off less and less material as we go.
I like it.
Okay, the way you're doing it right now is what you're doing is you're just taking the same shape that you got and you're making it smaller.
Okay.
Because of the fact that you're starting here and you're going all the way down. If you want to get rid of that lump, what you need to do is just go back and forth here. Actually, I have done you a disservice. We still got the tool rest way out here. And we need to keep moving the tool rest in as we go.
Alright. Wow, that's a cool looking piece already.
There it goes. It was stuck for some reason. Now it's stuck again. Oh, I'm hitting my handle in the back.
Oh, the wall?
Yeah.
Oh, the back of the handle.
Yeah, I need to adjust that handle. That's what I need to do. But until then, we will do it this way. I don't have to adjust the handle. Okay, so now we're back closer. I apologize because that makes things much harder to work with. So you see how you kind of got a big chatter here?
Yeah.
So you want to kind of just work on getting those out. But again, if it's lumpy here, turn, get your speed up a little bit. But if you're lumpy here, this is where you want to be working at. All right, just take it back and forth here, and kind of get. Again, I'm not looking at my tool. I'm looking at the top.
Yeah.
That's where I'm looking at. And you see here, you kind of got a little bit of a divot, which again, if you want that out, just kind of, you want to work there. And then, if that's kind of the shape you want, and you want to keep it flat, again, just go to the flat tool. And that's going to start helping you keep it flat. Because if you look down here at the space, you can see as I go back and forth, the gap moves from either being in the center or the edges or whatever, because it's riding up and down on the ridges that are there. So you can see, like right here, my gap is on both ends because that's a high spot. And then I get like right here, my gap is in the middle because the two edges are touching and the gap in the middle is not. So you just keep moving that back and forth, eventually it'll get to where it's a little bit flat. But you don't, and you can try to dig in a little bit if you got an area where it's stubborn. But again, at this point, you kind of want to be making slivers, not chunks.
We're there, man. We are there.
It is just not happy with focusing on this at all. Alright, what are we going for on shape here?
I'm trying to get smooth.
Perfectly flat?
Not perfectly flat, just
Okay.
as flat as I can get.
Well, because you've still got, you can see where it's dark here and dark here.
Yeah.
So there's a couple grooves that you got in there that you're going to have to either cut out or live with and make it part of the piece.
Which is easier to correct.
Just make it part of the piece, because then all you got to do is get rid of the chatter marks.
All right.
You can see all these. Those you don't want to have to try to get out with sandpaper. It's just going to be too much work.
Okay.
You know what? Let's get you back on the gouge and
try to take out the dark.
Real slow. So you want to take this and you want to just real slowly work this back and forth. See how you can watch.
Yep.
See it move across there? That's what you want to kind of do. See how we've kind of gotten rid of that dark spot there?
Yep.
Okay? And you want to just real light, you want the piece to move this back and forth. I'm cutting really light. I'm not putting any forward pressure on this really. I'm just kind of letting the piece I'm just moving it left to right. I'm not really pushing it in very much. And once you think you got it kind of where you want, then you just want to real slowly drag it across there and and that will get rid of most of your tool marks. The slower you are. Okay? You can see that by if you go real fast. Well, I don't want to mess your piece up, but if you're pushing on it, it'll just be a big spiral. You'll just see it go like this. But you just want to move it real slow and real easy at this point. And then dark spots, just kind of work back and forth until those dark spots disappear. You see that one disappear? Now if you linger too long, you'll get a new dark spot show up. And you can always stop it and check and see what it looks like. This probably is not that bad because the rest of this we can get with sandpaper.
Cool.
So right now what we want to do is we want to finish up our ends a little bit while it's chucked up there and centered before we unchuck it.
The gouge?
So nope. I'm going to give you this thing. And we're going to use this to cut, basically use it as a cutoff tool. So you can do this one of two ways. You can hold it like this to where this edge is flat with your piece and just move it in. I find that to be pretty hard. Or you can move this way, use this flat piece and let this cut and just keep going forward. Now you're looking at making wood chips because you're looking to get rid of all that extra material that's on there that you don't need. Alright? And make it flat. And then do the same thing over here. You can kind of see where your edge ends.
Yep.
Okay?
Oh, nice.
So again, you're just making wood chips really fast. And you can check it and say, okay, well, actually I need to move it over just a little bit. Right?
Okay.
If you want to get rid of that edge. So.
Well, it was a lot prettier than I thought. It's been sitting under my porch for over a year now.
So you mark it, check, see if it's, yep, it's right where you want it to be. You're not losing any extra wood. So that's the line you want to cut on. There you go. Cut this in. Just run it all the way in until it gets about the diameter that this is.
Okay.
And then same thing over there. Just I'll watch you.
Okay. We're getting there.
cutting great, but it's kind of hard to see what you're doing, and you're getting this thing hot because there's too much friction. So what you do is give yourself a little bit more room. That way you can kind of see what you're doing a little bit better. And this thing needs sharpened badly. See how it starts making sawdust before you got to push it really hard to get wood chips. So we need to sharpen that a little bit. Alright, so normally what we would do at this point is we would get this down to where it's the right size roundness to fit in the 4-jaw chuck, and then just cut it off. And then put it in the 4-jaw chuck and then rework it. I'm not sure where the 4-jaw chuck is, so we're just going to leave this as being the drive end, and we're going to work the rest of this using this. The only problem is that the 4-jaw chuck holds everything in place, and it doesn't matter what's going on at this end.
Okay.
With the drive here, we're going to have to be a little bit more careful what's going on this end to keep it centered.
Okay.
But I'm going to go check and see if I can't find it. Anyway, so I sharpened this a little bit. So I would take this down to where it's about that big around.
Okay.
So just a little bit more. And while you do that, let me go see if I can find the 4-jaw. Alright.
You found it?
1-4-jaw chuck. Yep, we got it right there. So that's good. So we're gonna take that down to where it fits in there.
Okay.
But before we transfer it from here to here, we're going to finish the outside.
Okay.
Okay? Because when you re-chuck it up, it's never going to match 100% and it's not going to be totally in the same spot. So we're going to finish the outside of this and then chuck it up to be able to hollow out the middle.
Cool. This is very relaxing, gotta say.
Oh, it's fun. No doubt about it.
Transform this wood into something useful, something functional.
Yeah, you don't have a problem with any of your fingers getting ripped off, right?
Yeah, that could be a challenge.
Yeah, I
Like to keep all my digits, you know?
Alright, fine. You big baby.
Want to make sure I can do it again, you know? This is fun.
Alright, so I asked you about not being afraid of losing any of your fingers. And the reason for that is because you're going to be touching this thing and it's going to be spinning and it's kind of scary. And I'm not going to tell you it's not. So that
Is this
way
my
you,
safety briefing?
so that way you
I feel like I should sign something.
so that way you're cautious. There's nothing wrong with being cautious. But I've been cautious and I've never had a problem. So basically, this is some 80 grit. We'll just keep working our way down. You don't need this to be spinning super fast. If you do, what's going to happen is it's going to get hot really quick. And at this point, you're okay with it a little bit slower. What you can do is you can hold both ends and hold it down and go back and forth. Or you can take your hand and just push on it and hold it. You don't want to get the edge here because it's going to want to grab and buckle like that. So you want to be making sure that you're kind of flat against it, not too steep of an angle.
Right.
So just keep going. If you want this edge to be kind of rounded, which you probably do, you can just grab it, push on it, and you can feel that edge gets smooth. You can feel like right here,
A wooden foot.
there's some ticks. Just run your finger across it and you'll feel that.
Yep. I can hear it too.
So those are rough edges, rough patches that you can work on. We can sort of go like this and get this bottom edge here. But that's basically all you're doing. You can stop it and see what it looks like. See you got that
Damn.
tool mark right there?
Messed that one up.
So what you can do is you can just keep either trying to sand that or you can come back and hit it with the tool. Once you start sanding, it's going to make all your tool marks show up. Because it's basically smoothing out the rest of the wood, but where it's a little deeper, it's going to show up. So you have a choice of either keep sanding until they disappear or retool it a little bit and get rid of it, whatever you want to do. Just try sanding it for a little bit and see how it goes.
Okay. For some reason, I thought the Arizona ash would be like more of a red color.
No, it's a light colored wood. Cedar's red. In fact, cedar's purple. First work. Alright, you may want to stop it and see how your tool marks are looking. Are they disappearing?
They're disappearing. There's some bad ones here, though. I don't think this is gonna get any better. No matter how much I sand it.
Well, it will disappear. I mean, you're just going to have to push real hard. You're going to have to keep moving it too, because when you push real hard like that and you leave your fingers in one spot, you get really hot. You got to constantly be kind of changing the pressure point on your fingers to where it doesn't get too hot.
Oh,
so you got a little bit there, but most of the rest of them all the way around have disappeared.
Wow, that's a really cool looking piece.
And you can even take, while it's stopped, if you got one side here that's just kind of being stubborn, you can take and rotate it. Now, the only problem is your sandpaper leaves tool marks too. So you don't want to normally do this unless you're trying to get rid of something that's really worse than the sandpaper scrape. So these still got some scrape marks in there, but it's getting better. You can feel them. Feel them right there?
Oh yeah! Wow.
Fresh side of sandpaper always helps a little bit. One way to get your hands warm when it's cold outside. Alright, so if you can still feel them, but like right there, there's some chatter from the tool mark. Now if I was, I don't know, you might want to hit that with a tool, but I don't know, what do you think?
I mean, at this point, I like the way it looks, but I would probably ask you to help me with that because I don't know what looks better with more or less workage.
Yeah, let's get rid of that tool mark. I mean, there's no sense having something there that we can get rid of. Let's see if that was enough to get rid of them. There's just a couple right here that are still stubborn for some reason. Yeah, see, with the higher speed, you can also push on this a lot harder. This flat piece, you can push on. Now the gouge, if I was pushing on it this hard, you just like. The other thing that you can do with this piece is take and just rotate it around the edge.
Right.
And bevel your edges. Same thing over here. And you make it as round as you want. And you want at least some sort of the roundness to it. Alright, let's see.
It's a lot better.
I'm having a, no, right. See, when you stain this or put some oil on it, you'll be able to see those a little bit better. You can also see where there's,
yeah.
See, this was hit a little bit more. You see, you've got some banding right there.
Yeah.
Where there's some tool marks. So what I do, we're going to turn the speed up. Just take this, and you'll be able to feel how you can push a little bit harder and take off just a little bit of that surface, and that'll get rid of some of those tool marks. Okay, I can still see a few here and there. But it's not that bad. We don't want to get rid of all our bark. I'm trying to fix it though either.
I think it's okay. I like the idea about the bark. It came out really good.
So go ahead and now when you do the sandpaper, always you want to move your tool back because you don't want to get your finger pinched in between that. Right? So you always do want to move your tool back. But other than that, have that with some sandpaper. Buff that up a little bit with the 80 grit. Here's some 100 grit. Same thing, you're just going to work your way down. $150. 20. See how it's starting to get shiny?
Yep. Woo! That's hot.
It's going to get hotter and hotter. And normally you wouldn't want to wear clothes that are,
I keep...
No. Clothes that are loose. You get that caught.
Yeah.
And it'll pull your arm off.
Alright. Stew?
Normally, like anything that's rotary like that, you want to wear real tight fitting clothes, not loose fitting. You don't want anything to get caught. Get loose and get caught. And you're going to be fine on this. But, so, here, let me see here. This is your 400. Mm-hmm. 800.
Damn!
I'm going to show you probably a good amount of pressure. You should see some sawdust coming off of there. Not a lot at 800, but a little bit.
That's looking real shiny.
Alright, well let's, when you get done with that pass, let's turn it off and see what it looks like.
Whoa.
Now, some of this is dust that's in here.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, yeah, that's, and then you can see how your tool marks get accentuated just a little bit once you start polishing it. That's why you want to try to get rid of many of those as possible, but probably having a tool mark or two on your first piece is not bad.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so if we're happy with the way the outside looks, we'll cut this down just a little bit so we can re-chuck it into a 4-jaw bit, 4-jaw chuck, and then remount it. And if you want to, I mean, I can stay out here working all day long. If you want to, we can always come back out and finish it tomorrow too.
I think I need a whiskey break.
Okay.
Oh my god, it's so smooth.
It's so fluffy!
Man. So
this 4-jaw chuck, it's going to expand out. But see how when you do that, these things slide out? When you're working on this and those are out that far, and you hit a knuckle on that, it just rips it open. You don't want to do that. So I like making it a little smaller so that when I clamp down on it, those things are in a little bit. So I'm going to move it in, and I'm going to say, okay, I want my piece that I'm going to grip onto to be about that big.
Okay.
All right, I'm just going to eyeball it. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this down real quick so that we can get it chucked up and ready for tomorrow. And you can see how deep my groove is there. It's about, I don't know if you can tell, but it's about 2 widths of this particular tool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure I got 2 widths with the grooves. And that's going to, the other thing is that if you look at this, It's normally a little bit, it's hard to see because I got so much sawdust on here. But you can see it's bigger on the bottom than it is at the top.
Yes.
See how it's angled? So I want to have a little bit of an angle. And that helps keep it from flying out this way. So I'm going to make it a little bit fatter at the bottom than at the top. Alright, so I'm kind of caught up where you were. I'm just going to take, and again, I'm going to make it to where it's a little smaller towards this end than it is at this end. And you can see if you look, again, look at the top edge. You can see how I've got that angle, right? It's fatter on this end of the cut than it is that cut? Okay, so at this point I'm just going to cut it off the old-fashioned way, which probably means putting it on a bandsaw or a chop saw or something else. You can, the other thing that you can do is you can rotate this and get you a hacksaw blade or something to hold it on there, and then it cut itself off.
Oh, that's smart.
Alright, so unlock this. So when you unlock that, this allows this to pull back and you got your piece free.
Yeah, look at that.
So we'll get this chucked up and then we'll do the inside part tomorrow.
It'd be cool, like a wooden style.
I wonder when I stopped recording. Alright, so we got that end cut off. We're going to put it in the four-jaw and chuck it up. Alright, it's not quite small enough.
Dang it, man.
That's okay. That just means I got those nubs to stick out a little bit. Alright, so it is chucked up there. Go ahead and tighten that down. Well, wait a minute. Back off a little bit. I think it's a little long on this one end. See how it gets a little wider that tight? That's going to make this set in here wide because this is a little bit longer than the chuck depth.
Okay.
So I'm just going to hit it with a belt sander and take a little bit of that off so where it's more flat. Yeah, that's fitting better. See, my jaws are flush up against the bottom?
Yep.
So that means it's pretty flat. Alright, so go ahead and, I'm going to hold this on there. You go ahead and turn that until it's good and, as the Germans would say, good and tight.
I'm not sure if that's what that means, but okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Good and tight.
Sounds like a good night.
That's good. Alright, so you can see that's locked up in there good. So when we put this on the lathe, actually it came off just a little bit. Go ahead and loosen it up a little bit.
Was that flat enough, you think? Or just reposition it?
Well, the thing is, yeah, go ahead and I may just hit this. Let me just put it back on the belt sander and take off just a little bit more so that it fits up in there a little bit better. Alright. Okay. Alright, so now when you see the jaws on all four sides are flush against the bottom.
Yep.
So that means it's about as square as we can get that in there. And then
Disassembly required.
And then we're going to take this out, and then this is threaded. It's going to screw on the end of that. Okay. As a matter of fact, I guess I could probably leave that thing on there, although normally I don't. I don't even know if you can leave it on there. I've never really thought about it. I don't think so.
Is that a problem leaving?
I think it'd butt up against there. So normally I have a rod that fits in the back and pops this out. So just set it down over there somewhere. That way I can lose it later. So this is going to fit on here.
With the ash?
Yeah. I'm surprised
And then,
it's as bright or light it is, the color.
see, now we can turn it without this end stock. And it's still fairly round.
Yeah.
Because again, the jaws are up against the bottom.
Yeah.
But it's got some wobble to it. Which is why we finished the outside before we rechucked it, because when we drill this is going to drill through. It won't be 100% perfectly centered with the outside because of the small amount of wobble, but it's real small. You'd never notice it. You'll never be able to see it with your eye. But we'll chuck up, we'll take this end here out,
Okay.
and we'll chuck up a mortise drill bit and just start running it through.
Cool.
If you want, we can do that now.
Yeah. It's not going to take long to do it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So if we use,
Dong you. I don't know if you'll hear it or not.
we'll be in just a few minutes. So if we use this bit here, that's how thick your wall is going to be, which I think should be plenty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll use this big mortise bit and just start running it through.
Man, it's so smooth. It's so pretty. Feels almost fake.
All right, so we got a drill chuck here. And we're going to chuck up this mortise bit into it. All right, so we got to put this in here. We run this out to where it starts catching on that taper. And then we're going to run this into where it makes contact and lock it down. Okay?
Okay.
At this point, we just kind of move our breast out of the way because we really don't need it. And then we're going to turn that on. And then you're just going to take and start turning this. When you turn this, it's just going to push that in.
Okay.
It's going to start cutting and drilling a hole. So there you go. This is the easy part, although we will start fires.
Okay.
So just keep turning it as it'll go. I mean, it'll get too hard and you'll have to just rest a minute and then just keep turning it again. So just keep turning it as long as you can turn it.
Oh, I smell it, yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to give it a little bit more juice so that it'll counter the friction. Keep going. You want to go slow though. See how it's starting to smoke already? If we go too fast, it just catches fire really easy. So just keep going. As long as you're peeling these off, we're probably doing good. It's gonna smoke though. And if the lathe starts bogging down, just back it off just a little bit and then go at it again. Just keep working it.
getting some embers there.
That's what I got. Okay. So one thing about pouring water on a lathe, it goes everywhere.
Getting pretty smoky in here.
Yeah, I need to turn the fan on. Here, put this in the wall over there. back it out.
Alright. This piece is on fire.
Okay, go ahead and back it out some more.
That's as far as it can go.
You know, I always hate doing these things.
Hold on, I gotta step outside for a second.
All right, you can see our cavity there.
Dang.
And we're just gonna sand it up and get it ready to call done. I'd start with
I don't remember.
the 80 grit, and then do the 100 grit, and then just. Now it won't take you as long because most of your work's done, but you can feel you've got some edges like right here in the bark that have kind of laid back up as it's dried a little bit. Feel like right there?
Oh yeah.
Right? So it wouldn't hurt to just go ahead and go through the process again of using all the different grits. The other thing you want to do is you want to get the bottom of this and your top edge here, your inside edge, and even the inside of it.
Okay.
The paper here, you can run down the inside of this and sand the inside.
It's fun to work that inside and go over more to the outside.
Well, the thing to keep in mind is the inside doesn't have to be perfect unless you want it to be, because nobody's going to see it. There you go. You might just want to do the outside first, because you don't need to do 800 grit on the inside. Probably just
leave it as is.
Well, I'm just saying you don't need to polish the inside as much as you do the outside. And the outside is what you're going to see and feel, really. While you're doing that, I'm going to go look for the food grade.
Okay.
Top seal oil.
Still recording. Wow.
You want to keep using different parts of your sandpaper though. See how it'll start getting clogged up. So you want to keep using, just keep flipping it, or using, you know, the top, middle, bottom sort of technique. That way, as this gets built up, you use the other side for a little while, and then pretty soon, you know, this side is, you know, some of the sawdust is falling out of
Knocked off. Yeah.
of it. And if you use one spot too long, it just kind of gets clogged up with the sawdust and doesn't work as well. So you want to keep rotating it. Changing your players in and out. Did you check the inside of those, make sure you got them in the right order? Or just kind of feeling them?
I'm kind of feeling them.
Yeah, so that's 400 grit. We had the 110. This is 220. So this is actually, this is grittier. The higher the number, the less grittier. This is 150, I'm sorry. 150, 210. You're out of order a little bit, doesn't matter a whole lot.
Felt good.
Yep. So now you're going to start putting some polish on it with that 400.
Oh yeah, it's warming up.
Yeah, remember the other thing you can do is you can just take your paper and grab both hands and just go like this too. This keeps your hands from getting hot, especially with some of the higher grit paper you get. It heats up pretty quick, right? So you can use this method to kind of apply a lot of pressure with the paper, cover a big area, but without getting your hands real hot. Because if you just take it like that, you know, the heat builds up pretty quick, and you have to let go of it.
Nice. You still feel the heat on that paper.
Just stretch it out. There you go. Alright, so see, it's got a nice smooth finish to it. Now the only thing is you don't have your end here, and your bottom isn't real smooth.
So you sand this. Oh yeah, I need to sand this down. This rim.
Yeah. I'd at least do the inside, whether or not you do the inside of the edge of the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you go inside the bowl really doesn't matter a whole lot. But
it's like a bigger edge would go with a quarter grain. Okay.
Yeah, so you just want to take this and, basically smooth, rock it around to where you're getting the edges, the flat spots, and this edge. So you get your inside edge, your outside edge, and then this first just a flat spot. Again, you want to see this and this here. You can just around just a little bit to catch this. With this, you can kind of see the color change. So where it's real light is where the sandpaper is making contact with it yet, and where it's real low, haven't really sanded down to that. You can press on it a little bit and get down in those grooves, and you see that affects where it's at. But you can kind of see what you're getting with the sandpaper and what you're not.
Oh yeah. Lighter color now.
If you don't like sticking your fingers in there, which sometimes can be kind of scary, especially when you're first starting out. It probably is dangerous even if you're not first starting out, but you can take and wrap your sandpaper around a round dowel, and then you can just insert that in there.
Oh yeah.
Stay your fingers.
Nice and warm.
Now, if you wanted a bigger bevel and you didn't want to worry about trying to sand it down, you could actually move your tool rest on here and take a blade and actually take some of that off. But I think we're fine with sandpaper probably.
Alright.
No, I mean as far as your bevel. I don't know if you... Does it feel like you're done?
No.
You happy with it?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, you've got some edges there because the wood is cracked. That you might just be able to spot sand. See, like, feel right here.
Yeah.
You can see the different color. You haven't sanded down to the tool mark yet, right? See, there's like that groove right there. So you either try to spot sand it down a little bit, or just keep working on the whole thing. And then feel like you feel right there where you got some edges because of the crack. Again, you can just kind of spot sand that, and then now feel it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much gone. The edges. Still got a little bit of that tool mark right there.
Oh yeah.
I said it's so light that you know, you're taking off just a little bit of extra material there, but it's not enough to where the human eyes are really going to notice it when it's done. So I'd go to your next grit and just start polishing this here up.
Okay.
Unless, like I said, you really are concerned about the inside, but I wouldn't be.
Yeah. All right.
Now, if you're using the thing this way, our piece is spinning this way. So that means that when it catches this edge, it's pulling the edge this way, which is good. If you'd wrapped it the other way, like this way, it would catch that edge, and you can hear it catching.
Yeah.
So you always want to pay attention to which way that edge is, and the rotation, so that it doesn't catch.
Right.
But I'd work mostly on your lip here, unless you just really want to sand the inside of it. But
Nah. It's a lot easier on your digits too, this way.
yeah, I don't care for using the dowel too much. I'd rather use my fingers, but you know, everybody's got their preference. That's why I showed you more than one way. It's like the other day when we used, you know, a couple different tools. So, some people, you'll have the same like 8 basic chisel sets, and you know, like one person will always mostly use one tool 80% of the time, and another person uses a different tool 80% of the time, and another person uses a different tool 80% of the time. It's just whatever that person likes. Alright, we should be probably able to switch to the next grit. your outside edge either. Sometimes when it does that, it can surprise you. It's like, whoa!
Did get kind of lost in the spinning. Is
Actually, after you do this a little while, you find that it grips and catches like that less often because you just kind of naturally kind of learn, you know, like, oh, if I press it, if I press with this finger this way, at this point in the rotation, it catches. So your brain eventually learns to avoid those things. Caution on these kind of rotary tools is a good thing, though.
yeah.
I mean, I could probably be a lot more aggressive with the sandpaper than what you can, but you've not done it as long as, so you should be less. You should be more cautious.
I feel like I should.
Okay, I don't know what that is. What is this? Oh, that's that 150 I couldn't find the other day. I was like, oh, they got a piece of that out already. I had. Okay, so you can see that's really smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really smooth on the inside for the first little bit, which is probably all you need.
Nice.
So, let's kind of blow some of that out. So here's where the magic happens, is when you start putting on your finish. So let me actually move this around so we can capture this a little bit. Alright, so we got some boiled linseed oil here.
And this is the one that just makes it so you can drink out of it.
So I thought the stuff I had was in a round container, but this is what I found. So you could go through and just wipe it down this way, but the easiest thing, since it's already on the lathe, is to soak your towel in this. Go ahead and hook that, get it wet, and then just turn it on and let the lathe do some of the work for us. And then just put it on there and start applying it. Okay, here, let's go ahead and stop it so you can kind of see what it's doing as you go. Put some more on there, get it good and wet. Now obviously they have different tones of that, which can stain the wood, but I just like using the clear oil, which will just make it look wet, bring out the color a little bit.
Let's try that.
Smush it on there.
Wow. Look at that.
Make sure you get the let me get the edge here for you so that you don't. So you don't have to worry about that four-jaw chuck catching you and grabbing your knuckles. And then we'll get the bottom after we.
It's like to turn it darker?
Yeah, it's going to turn a little darker.
That's pretty. Dang!
Now see, we don't, the recesses here,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really get that because it's spinning.
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't want to get in there. So you just have to kind of stop it for a minute or two and push the rag where it squeezes up in those cracks.
Wow.
And that's what you got.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then we want to coat the inside here again, just to, I'll let you go ahead and put some, I'd put some more oil on there. Or actually what I like to do at this point, I'll take it off and then pour a little bit of oil in there.
And then spin it?
Yeah, well, not spin it, just
hand.
rotate it, yeah.
Okay. Alright.
So, pour a little bit in there. And then you just want to take and get the bottom wet. Just roll it back and forth, roll it around, let it get all wet. It's going to be hard to film it, but